Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? James here, and today I bring you casual combat talk. So, let's get into the first thing that I want to talk about: Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez. Now, Billy Joe, when he's on point, he's absolutely, utterly amazing. He's just some next level fighter, as we all know. He's just amazing at dancing around people and countering people and head movement, just everything, man. He seems like, and awkward angles from Southpaw as well. He's just utterly amazing. But the thing is with him, sometimes he doesn't show up. You know, I know he did great against Chris Eubank Jr. years ago, but he wasn't really. He wasn't really at peak point, was he? He wasn't really. He didn't look well. He looked good in the fight, but not like peak. It was quite funny when he was doing the wanker sign to Chris Eubank Jr. Because Chris Eubank Jr. is just a bit of a tit, in he sometimes. He's just. And I might talk about that later because there is something funny Chris Eubank Jr. did. I don't mean to be rude to fighters or anything. I get that it's a hard job, but honestly, he's just got such a big ego, man. Anyway. But yeah, Billy Joe on the day when he's on point, he's great. The way he fought Martin Murray seemed. I know Murray's past it now, but he seemed very offensive, and I don't think it's a good idea to fight Canelo like that unless you're really tough like Triple G. Triple G pretty much like just pressed the action on him. I know Canelo. The first fight, it was like everyone could tell Triple G won. The second fight was more of a draw, but if you had to pick, Triple G still won. But hey ho, there you go. It is what it is. After the Triple G fight, Canelo did absolutely, utterly amazing work. I know, didn't he get done for steroids or something, which was pretty uncool and lame, so maybe he was on steroids up to that point. But the thing is, was it after the first fight or second fight? I really can't remember. I have a feeling it was after the first. But the thing is, after the second Triple G fight, TKO'd Rocky Fielding in 3 rounds. Great win there. Beat Danny Jacobs, mugged him off, knocked out Sergey Kolev, basically backed him up for ages for the whole fight, was winning a lot of the fight anyway, and then KO'd him in the 11th. Absolutely mugged off Callum Smith easily, and Callum Smith is an absolute, utter beast. He TKO'd George Groves, and I know that George Groves had a bad shoulder, but still, And then Yardrum. Canelo, I watched that fight, and all that was really happening was Yaldrin was, sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but basically he was just covering up, and Canelo would fake a left hook, then go with a right uppercut, or fake a right hook, then go with a left uppercut, because Yaldrin just had his hands and kept leaning forward, and just kept getting hit with them shots and backed up, and he got dropped by a 1-2 as well, and then the fight got stopped in the third, and I was like, man, I know it's meant to be about the Canelo and Billy Joe fight, but Yildirim just. I felt like he didn't even throw anything really, and that he just wasn't in the fight at all. But there you go, Canelo's quite a tall task, And then, so then they stopped the fight, his corner or the ref or whoever, I don't know. And now Canelo's fighting Billy Joe in May, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean. I didn't really think it was much of a good idea for him to take this fight, though. Mainly because he's fighting Billy Joe soon. I know he wants to be active and all that jazz. But what is the point of going through another training camp to beat a guy you know you're going to beat? By all means, once you beat Billy Joe Saunders, you've pretty much beaten not everyone, but quite a lot of people. I mean, if he had the third Triple G fight, Triple G ain't as good as he used to be, so I'm pretty sure Canelo would win that one now. But, I know he won the second fight, but come on, we all know that was a draw or a Triple G win. We know Canelo didn't actually win that fight. And the first one, that wasn't a draw. Triple G won that one, but whatever. But yeah, even though Canelo made it look really easy, his body still went through a training camp, and now he's going right back into training camp to fight Billy Joe Saunders. And it is nice he's active, but I just feel like you should either be active against good people who will look good on your record, who people will be like, well done, he beat that person, or fight, or just wait till you're fighting someone good. Because I guess it does look nice in the history books when this person fought so many people, blah, 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 but then at the same time, it looks better when you beat known people and known names, people known for being really good. And Yildirim, with all due respect to him, I did actually put this on Facebook and Twitter. I said, if Canelo doesn't finish Yildirim in 3 rounds... I'm sorry I'm not pronouncing his name right, but yeah. If Canelo doesn't finish him in 3 rounds, Chris Eubank Jr. will boast about how he's the best and he finished him straight away. And then 10 minutes later, he put up how... I can't remember the exact tweet. I'll see if I can find it. But, like, it was really, really... It was exactly what I said it would be. He put it on Twitter and Facebook. Let's see. I probably won't be able to find it now. But, yeah, it was just utterly ridiculous what Chris Eubank Jr. was saying. It was just absolute rubbish. It was something like, I knocked him out. It was basically, I knocked him out in 3 rounds, I'm the best, and everybody else sucks. Oh, here we go. Chris Eubank Jr. put, how/white is Canelo fighting a guy I knocked out in 3 rounds 3 years ago? I guess if he's really the pound for pound, he'll, like people claim, he'll stop him in the first round tonight. Let's see. And I'm thinking, like, by that logic, like, come on. Chris Eubank Jr. is wasting his career. He hasn't fought anyone in ages. Like, by his logic, Canelo Whoop-Smith, who got TKO'd by Groves, who Chris Eubank lost to when Groves had a bad shoulder. He lost to Groves when Groves had a bad shoulder and got absolutely mugged off. Like, so by Chris Eubank's logic, Chris Eubank's even shitter just because he knocked out one guy and then lost to someone who lost to somebody else who got absolutely dominated by Canelo. It just doesn't make any sense. He's just trying to get his name out there, but it's just an absolute load of rubbish, really. I just don't like that sort of arrogance, because it's like Rumble Johnson boasting about how he knocked out Gustafsson and DC and Jones couldn't, but DC submitted Rumble Johnson twice. So it's just ridiculous. It's like if George Foreman, when he lost to Muhammad Ali, said, "Oh, I finished Ken Norton and Frazier really quickly. You couldn't finish them, could you?" Yeah, but Muhammad Ali wrecked you and beat both of them on points twice. So even though he lost to both of them one time, point being, it's just ridiculous, utterly mad logic. Because the thing is, you can say MMA math or boxing math, but it still doesn't work, because you can use different math to make that person look... Well, you can make Chris Eubank still look daft, because, as I said, he lost to Groves, who lost to Callum Smith, who lost to Canelo. So it's just ridiculous. If Eubank beat the people, he'd be fighting Canelo, let's be real. If Eubank was near pound for pound number 1, he'd be fighting Canelo, wouldn't he? So it's just absolutely ridiculous. But back to the fight, what I think will happen. I think Billy Joe will slip counter dance around him, hit Canelo more. But I feel like Canelo, they'll just give him the win. Like, Canelo's cool and all, and I'm pretty sure he's not on the juice and the roids anymore, but yeah, Canelo. They'll give Canelo the win. It'll just be some corrupt robbery, that's all it'll be. It'll just be some corrupt bullshit robbery. Billy Joe, it'll be competitive, but we'll all be able to tell Billy Joe won the fight, but then they'll just say, Canelo won, unanimous decision, the judges gave it this. And I know, like, Tyson Fury, he got screwed over in the Wilder fight. He won that first fight, but they gave it to Wilder still for some reason. And then, sorry, they didn't give it to Wilder. It was a draw, but Fury clearly won that fight. And the same with Triple G versus Canelo 1. Triple G clearly won that fight. But, it's... These things happen, but the thing is, in the second fight against Wilder, Fury put the pressure on and TKO'd Wilder. But the thing is, if Billy Joe tries that against Canelo, it just won't work. It just won't work. Canelo is way better than Wilder pound for pound. Wilder, the only people who really fought was what's his name, Luis Ortiz. He's the only, and Luis Ortiz nearly finished him. I'm not saying Fury's win over Wilder should be taken away from him. It shouldn't. It's really good to be able to knock out one of the biggest punchers at heavyweight. Who's pretty much finished nearly everyone, hasn't he? But it's not like Wilder's beaten... it's not like Wilder's beaten Parker, Povetkin, Pulev, Dillian White, Chisora, Klitschko. He hasn't gone through everyone. He just really... The only person he beat was an old person in Louise. And then he did knock down Fury twice, which was fair play. But Fury was nowhere near his best. When we saw Fury at his best, he absolutely wrecked Wilder. So, and even Fury, not at his best, won most of the rounds. Like, apart from the rounds where Wilder knocked him down, Fury won all those other rounds. And even when he did get knocked down, he got up and continued to outbox him. But yeah, what I think will happen, I think Billy Joe will objectively win the rounds, but the judges will just give it to Canelo. So yeah. So I'm going for Billy Joe to win, but I know they'll give the decision to Canelo. But if Canelo genuinely mugs him off, which is possible, fair play to him. But I think Billy Joe will beat him, but they'll give it to Canelo. So some rubbish like that. Anyway, let's talk about a little bit more boxing. So basically, Junior fought Wilder. And I thought to myself, damn, this guy's fighting out of City Kickboxing. And we don't usually see boxers fight out of MMA gyms, usually. Because it just... I know, like, McGregor fought Mayweather out of SGB, but he got his old boxing coach back to help, didn't he? I know Kavanagh was in his corner, but he should have just gone to a boxing gym. He should have gone to the best trainers, like, I don't know. In Ireland, he could have gone to the McGuigan gym. Or, you know, he'd have the money to get trained by Sugar Hill Stewart, you know, and be taught the Kronk style. And he wouldn't have beaten Mayweather with it, but he probably would have done better doing that than trying out of an MMA gym. But Junior Fa, he's number 5 in, I can't remember which championship division it's in, but he's number 5, so he's done well. And, you know, he showed great movement, to be honest. He showed really, really brilliant movement. Wilder was like, you know, not Wilder, sorry, Parker, was pretty much pressing the action and landing more, but Junior Fa was landing a bit. He showed a lot of heart when he got that cut. And to be honest, I thought that Parker should have done a lot better. He should have dominated him a lot more because it was fairly competitive. But don't get me wrong, like, Parker won the fight. It was competitive, but I thought it'd go. I did think it'd go the distance, but I thought Parker would dominate him more because, you know, Fa landed a lot of good short combos and short single punches too, and sometimes long range single punches, but usually in the pocket, usually. But yeah, as I say, from a long range, he didn't land much, but he had great movement. Parker landed quite a few jabs and big right hands, but they usually like skim him. Parker landed some great punches in the to the body in the clinch, and like in the pocket, and backed up Fa loads. It was fun. It was a really fun fight, but Junior Fa, he's 31 now. He needs to go to a proper boxing gym instead of messing around at an MMA gym. City Kickboxing is amazing and one of the best MMA gyms in the world, and a great kickboxing gym, but you know, you need to go to a specialist gym. I'm sorry, you just do. You need to go to a place that just does boxing all the time. I mean, his net worth is 1 to 5 million, so let's say he's worth about 3 million. He has enough to move to America and train and do boxing. He's shown the movement and all that, and shown that he's got the skill. So let's just see it in action then. You know, let's see it at a proper specialist gym. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. But yeah, Parker's going to fight Chisora next, and I don't know how that's going to go, to be honest. I really... You know what, I'll probably go for Chisora 5th round KO, because I know he got mugged off by Usyk for the most part, but he still bullied Usyk for 4 rounds, so... And, I don't know. I feel like Parker knows he's had his day, he's had his chances against Dillian White, and I know he nearly finished Dillian White in the 12, but he had his chance against Dillian White, had his chance against bloody... Anthony Joshua, so, you know, can't believe Parker's 29. It feels like he's been it feels like he'd be like early to mid 30s, man. It feels like he'd be a bit older, you know. But yeah, you know, overall he's pretty great, but I just feel like Chisora will win. I think Parker, before the Joshua and White fight, will probably be able to beat Chisora, but I feel like... But the thing is, Chisora's been unlucky. I mean, he was beating White in both the fights, but then White just managed to TKO him. So, you know, we'll just have to see. It'll probably be a fun fight. You know, Parker still comes forward and does stuff. He just doesn't seem as skilled as he used to be. He doesn't seem as motivated and all that. But, you know, let's see what happens. Should be a fun fight. So, next couple of things I want to talk about. Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades quickly. Yeah, I mean, Derek Lewis, I just could not believe he won. I couldn't believe he got the job done. And he was doing the right thing. Just wait to counter Curtis Blades. Because look at what Francis Ngannou did. I know Francis actually did more than Derek Lewis did than just wait to counter and then stand in the pocket and throw massive hooks. But Francis stayed at a 2 metre distance, leg kicked Curtis Blades a few times. Then as soon as Curtis Blades didn't throw anything, he just went for the takedown out in the open really. And then Francis hit him, and then kept hitting him and hitting him, and then with that mad power, hit him a few times, and then it was all over. I know Derek Lewis just did it with one uppercut, but you got to remember Derek Lewis, he loads up a lot more than Francis, and Derek Lewis just saw the takedown coming. I mean, Curtis Blades was showing some amazing striking skill, but he just doesn't mix it up, does he? He just either throws strikes or does the wrestling. And it worked against Volkov because Volkov hasn't got that scary power, but Derek Lewis, man. And those shots afterwards, I mean, usually, I don't know, it's a bit of a... in my opinion, it's up to the ref in it to stop it. I mean, look at Leon Edwards versus Seth Berzinski. Leon knocked him down, hit him twice, then walked off. I don't think the ref actually stopped the fight. Leon pretty much just stopped it himself. But then you have idiots like... Was Herb Dean the ref for Jacare Souza versus Chris Weidman? Whoever the ref was for that one, that was ridiculous. That was stupid. That fight should have been stopped. I know Chris Weidman was winning the fight, but still, it's about safety at the end of the day. The person who gets the finish bloody wins. And I'm pretty sure it was Herb Dean reffing for Jai Herbert versus Francisco Trinaldo. And Jai, again, was winning the fight, but he got pretty much floored and Herb Dean wouldn't stop it. Or whoever it was. I'm pretty sure it was Herb Dean, because I remember Dan Hardy having to go at him afterwards, and Dana White was like, we're not going to let that happen again. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Herb Dean. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry about that. But I'm pretty sure it was Herb Dean. And I know it was Herb Dean for Curtis Blades versus Lewis, because, yeah, it was Herb Dean for that fight. Yeah, Dan Hardy's having to go at him. I don't blame Dan Hardy for having to go at him. That was ridiculous, not stopping the fight. That was just so... Oh, God, it was just ridiculous and silly. That's all I've got to say about that. But yeah, I know it was this one was Herb. I don't mean to laugh, but there's this meme of I think there's a meme of Alistair Overeem running, and then somebody out, then Stipe Miocic running after him, then Herb Dean running, then somebody else running. It was just an amazing meme. That's all I'm laughing about. But yeah, Herb Dean, it is up to the ref to stop it at the end of the day. But Curtis Blades was totally out of it. I mean, when Volkov knocked out Overeem, I know it wasn't a proper knockout, but Volkov was ready to hit him. And then he hit him, I think he hit him a little bit, then the ref stopped it. So when someone's that, I mean, but again, you don't know how they're feeling the fight. They might just be like, I've got to finish this. I don't know. It's just really, really difficult. If I was in their position, I mean, the heavyweight power's mad, so I wouldn't be a heavyweight, would I? But if I was in their position, MMA, what would I do? If I was Derek Lewis, I'd probably, once he's knocked down, I'd get ready to hit him, and then wait, wait a few, ready to hit him, ref, stop it, ref doesn't stop it, bam, 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 bam! Okay, not that much, but you know what I mean, hit him. To be fair, actually, no, if you wait too long, then they could get back up. But the thing is, when they've been dropped, okay, you do sort of want to rush them, but come on, when they're out of it, I don't know. Maybe hit them once and then get off, but hitting them twice, I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much because the referee's meant to stop it, but at the same time. But then people will be like, oh, you're in the wrong sport. But there's loads of top fighters who, that just sort of, not wait for the ref to stop it, but, Israel Adesanya, I know it was close to the end of the first round when he fought Whittaker, but he just raised his hand in the air. And he was going to hit him, but he thought the ref might stop it, but he didn't, and Israel's still winning the second round. So it's I don't know, it depends what sort of fight you are, and it just depends. It depends on the situation. We don't know how Derek Lewis feels, and at the end of the day, it's up to the ref to stop it. That's sort of my opinion on it. Up to the ref. And the thing is, as well, it depends how many people end up being seriously hurt, because usually when people get knocked out cold, I know there's obviously brain damage in years and years to come, whether it's really bad or a tiny bit or whatever. Usually one knockout ain't gonna affect you massively in the long run unless it's in your family genes or whatever. But if it's in your family genes, you'll probably get problems when you're older anyway. But like the key is after these brutal knockouts is to just wait for ages and ages till you compete again. That's my opinion. Like, just wait for ages and ages, recover. Don't do any hard sparring. Do a load of technical stuff. Do some grappling here and there, but just wait for ages, especially for striking sparring. Just wait for quite a while. I mean, I'm not being mean to Herb Dean or anything, but you sort of need to be on top of the action more. You know, when you're a ref, you're paid. I'd like to think a decent amount of money to keep the fight going if it has to keep going, but also keep the fighters safe at the same time. So yeah, I mean, it's that. I was going to say though, because we haven't seen anyone get seriously hurt in high level MMA, you don't usually think about it, do you? But I don't know. I mean, people have died more or taken more damage in boxing because they've got knocked down, then got up and taken way more damage, then got knocked down again, then got up and taken way more damage. Well, in MMA, if someone's knocked down like that, like some people are in boxing, it's usually pretty much over. If the ref doesn't stop it, they'll follow up on something. But I don't know. You don't want to be hesitant, but you don't want to keep it in someone when someone's knocked out. Like, come on. Like, I understand one hit, but like two hits is a bit too much in my, and then more. I don't know. It is up to. I don't hate on anyone for having a go, and then some, and then Derek Lewis. I don't know. Like, when people are knocked out absolutely cold, and then he's doing his celebration. I don't know, but it is part of his gig, innit? I don't know. I've just had discussions with people about it recently, and they brought these things to me. I never really thought about it before, but like, this person's knocked out cold. They don't know if they're okay, but most of the time they are. Well, all the time in the UFC, they've been okay. Like, they've got up and they've been fine for the most part. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. I mean, if it really bothers you, don't watch the sport. And to be honest, it hasn't really bothered me. So yeah, that'll pretty much do it for today. UFC. I'm recording this on Friday, 5th of March. UFC 249 coming out. Well, Sunday morning, but Saturday night for America and all that, but Sunday morning here in the UK for me. Obviously, I'm not going to stop and watch it. I'll try and get up a little bit early, like 8 or 9, and get through it, or a bit earlier, I don't know, and watch the fights I want to watch. So, or maybe a bit early, because there are quite a lot that I want to watch. So, yeah, they're pretty good fights. I've done a predictions video on it, but yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So why do I keep going? Oh man. Oh yeah, I was gonna say the next CCT, well, Casual Combat Talk, or well, the next one might just be an analysis of UFC 2. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk a bit about Cyril Gane quickly. He did really well against Rosenstrike, really well. Just tip-tapping him, landing outside leg kicks, changing stances. Rosenstrike pretty much didn't counter him at all, did he really? Unless you just run at Rosenstrike, he's not going to counter. Or unless you let him charge at you, he's really not going to counter you, is it? Actually, no, sorry, it's usually if you charge at him, then he counters or whatever. So, yeah. And Cyril Gane showed off some pretty good wrestling. Not like Stipe, DC, or Curtis Blades level, but pretty good. Yeah, it's interesting. I know that JDS and Overeem have been let go, and I think it's for the best, really. I mean, JDS has got on quite a few times now, and he's getting on a bit, and Overeem's taken quite a lot of damage, and they'll probably get paid a bit more elsewhere. I know Overeem's paid quite well, but they'll get paid well elsewhere, won't they? Play better elsewhere. But yeah, it's good. It's good for their safety, because they're getting on and they've taken a lot of damage. I know they can just fight at other places, but hopefully they think, all right, time to retire now. But yeah, Cyril Gane, great, as I say. I was going to say the next CCT, or the one after, because the thing is, it's going to be like a massive MMA tier list, and then maybe just talking about some MMA news and all that jazz. So, and hopefully I can get some of my American friends on, but they probably... A lot of them are quite busy, so I don't know when it will happen, to be honest. Or if it will even happen. We'll just have to see. Hopefully it does happen, because they're just insanely busy. So, I don't know. But hopefully, I'm guessing we probably will do it at some point. So, yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you so much. Yeah. all I can say is have a good one and see you in the next one.